Hi traders, welcome to the week ahead. GJ here. Let's get the housekeeping out of the way. We are very much aware that this video is for educational purposes only. I am not a financial advisor. I do not give financial advice. These are my own personal views of how I see the market and what I'm doing with it. You need to take responsibility for your decision making regarding your trading. And if you need any advice, you need to seek out a professionally trained and qualified financial advisor if you have any doubts about anything to do with this market. That's out of the way. The calendar is fairly light this week. You need to be aware of the calendar. There's a couple of high impact stuff for Australia, but I'm not expecting any fireworks in that. It's quarter on quarter. It's inflationary data. We've got federal fund rates. That's predicted to stay the same at 0.25. The press conference is the one that I'm interested in, trying to get a clue of what the Fed might do. We've got the prelim GDP for quarter on quarter for the euro, and we've got a lot of stuff on unemployment rate through here. So the important part about the calendar is that you be aware of it. And if you're in trades, protect your profit, protect your capital, and even the low impact information, especially if it's around inflation, that can give little speed bumps in the price levels of a currency pair. We have GDP month on month, not expecting anything out of that too much, but all in all, pretty uninteresting kind of calendar for the week, especially in the market environment at the moment. Excuse me. So before we get going, I want to take a look at the dollar index. We talked about this last week, and you've heard me banging on about it, that a break below here, we need to watch the currencies that are the US dollar crosses. We've had a decent move on the USD Swissy, a decent move on the USD JPY, and a little bit on the CAD, some on the Aussie and Australian dollar. So let's have a quick look, first of all, on gold and silver, because we had some major moves on those currencies. And we're going to see some more big moves on those two metals. So here's the move up all week that we wrote up, or I wrote up. I hope you got it. Remember, at the beginning of the week, I said any break above here, you need to have pending orders in. And I've been writing this up, taken most of my profit off, except for a couple of positions, still holding open, and I'm looking to add. And when you've got several $1,000s sitting on your position, I think, I'd rather have that, $4,000 or $5,000 in the bank, I think, than hold on to it, because I can always get into it again. It's very nice to go, oh, well, I'll just hold it, and then you've got, some open positions worth 20, 30,000. It's not about getting greedy, it's about being sensible. I'll always put my money in the bank when it's there. Silver was the same. And, I talked to you last week to watch this, because if the US dollar was going to weaken, we were going to get this scenario, and we have. Been great moves. Now I'm looking for a move above 23 on silver. And yes, you could argue that technically now with a move up, we could see a pullback on both gold and silver, but there's no guarantees. The market's going to tell you what it does, and market sentiment right now is very, very fickle. So don't get locked into your ideas. Be flexible. Stay flexible. I've got pending orders here. I've still got some positions open and profit protected in around about here. This is roughly where I've got my stop losses on the positions I have open. And if I come back and get stopped out, that's all right, because I've got all this profit in here. And I've already taken a lot of positions off. So the market will tell us what it's going to do. If it's going to move sideways and stay in this range like here for a few weeks, all well and good. But I would encourage you to make sure you've got pending orders ready to go above 23 and also above 1900 on gold. Any pullback that's significant and comes way back in deep is a real bonus. And you know, if the price comes back in and retests as low as 20 on silver, man, when it turns and we get a good signal to go north, I'm going to be stacking it up again. So while we're down this end of the currency pairs, we go to the US dollar, JPY, and you can see the move here. Real good stuff, and I've got pending orders waiting to go below 106. I can't lose on these trades. I've got my profits locked in, and I'll be stacking it up again once we break this level and going south. USD Swiss had wonderful moves down. Again, this could prove to be a bit of a support for a while, but as soon as I get a close below 92, I will be adding, and I've got pending orders waiting down here. USD CAD, not as strong and going south. This is a key level. If we bring this cross down here, any close below here, in my humble opinion, is worth a trade. I think that if we get a close below this and we take out these lows here, we're going to retest some of the stuff down here. New Zealand JPY. We saw a nice move up at the beginning of the week, and same with the New Zealand USD. So, you know, we took some of those trades and out of them now, and I actually rode the New Zealand dollar back down. Didn't with the JPY. So what I'm looking for here is to see if this is going to be a true and consolidated bottom. And I'll be looking for a move off here, north. At the same time, I'm aware this is my baseline here. And at the moment, I'm only interested in taking trades north. If I get a break of this line, especially once this gets up here with a few days, and confluence of this level here, I'll be very interested in going south. But at the moment, there's no trade. There's no trade on the New Zealand Swissy. In fact, we've had a bit of a pullback, and now we're retesting these areas. Now, the Swiss is the strongest currency out of all the currencies at the moment. And I'm not expecting the New Zealand dollar to get too strong. In fact, I think it'll maintain at about the level it's at. You know, we might get a little bit of movement up. We'll take a look at that New Zealand US dollar in a minute. But down here, you know, getting good candle formations, and as long as it's on the right side of my baseline, I'll be looking to try to take some stuff north again. There's nothing here on the New Zealand CAD. We had a bit of a move up. Now we've got an interesting scenario. If the CAD continues to hold up, we'll see a bit of a retest of these areas down here. But at the moment, there's no trade. This is a month historical high by the look of it. Oh, weekly. It's a weekly line in there. So if we go and have a look at the bigger time frames very quickly. Yeah, very significant area this. We get a break above here, I'd be interested, as long as we get a close. I'm not interested in taking the breakout with this one. I'm interested in seeing it and then looking for a bit of a pullback and a bounce. And after the first dated candle, if we don't get too much of a pullback but it just comes back a little bit, I would look for it to take out that high of that candle, and I'd gingerly get in and test these levels here. I don't have a lot of confidence at the moment that New Zealand CAD can go too much higher. I know what technicals say and Pat would say, but here's the New Zealand USD. It's looking very interesting. You can see that there's still been a strong downtrend with the weekly time frame. If we go back to the daily chart, you can see that it broke here. And we talked about this last week, a breaker here, and that was a nice little trade. But this is a very key area now, right in here. And it's really, that's a big number, 67, just around there. Let's have a look. Yeah, see, you can see it, real strong area there. So I would be a very, very cautious, and I just really think it's going to struggle to get too much higher in the present economic conditions. Now, that doesn't mean to say it won't. It can do. If the US dollar goes if the US dollar goes lower, we could see this kind of move just continue to creep up. But I'd definitely be taking profit at 68 if I go again. Have to take out these candle highs here for me to be interested to go higher. Pound pairs. We saw a bit of upwards movement in the pound USD, and look, we're at a real interesting level right now. If we squash up the charts, this here is a very key level. Now, with the pound, obviously we've got Brexit in the background and negotiations going on. So just be careful. A break above here. I'm looking to see if we can get a close above here to go north. I'll be watching it in the London Open particularly. But I wouldn't be surprised to see more sideways movement. So currently, look for that this week. Continue weakness in the US dollar. You could get possibly a bit more of a move up here and a retest of 130. Okay, let's go to the pound. New Zealand, just sitting on these bottoms here. I got really excited. Tried with this one and got a few nickels and dimes, and really it's for this bottom to prove to me to be really established. We need to move up above here and then a retest, and then possibly we might get a move higher. I still believe that the potential for the pound to come lower is still there for another couple of months anyway, until the end of the year. So just take care with it. The pound JPY, got excited about this here last week, but look, didn't really go anywhere. Just ended up with a few nickels and dimes. So watching this area here, it's a real key. If we can get a bounce and an engulfing candle, that's a trade I'm looking at this week. Pound Swissy. This is the historical low here with the crosses. But this to me, if this level can hold and we can break the trend line, because the trend has been down, especially if we take out 1.2, I'm going to be into it. I will definitely be into it with a break of this trend line here and this area here around 1.19. I will definitely be looking at taking a trade in here. I do not have pending orders in yet, but that's one that I'm keeping a close eye on this week. Pound Caddy, we saw a move up on Friday. It was a nice little move, and we said that it could go either way, but I've got pending orders sitting up here, and I want to be in on that, and we'll see how that goes. Pound AUD, is this the bottom? The big question, isn't it? 1.80. For me, I'll just be watching the Frankfurt London Opens and taking some small impulse moves, but a break through here and a close, I'll be looking for a retest and see if we can get some traction. Now, if the Aussie dollar starts to move up and strengthen next week, I'll be looking for some more bearish movement. Euro USD, and here's a classic example of what happened when the US dollar weakened. And so now we're at some really interesting levels, and 1700's not out of the question here. It's not a lot of pips from where prices finished on Friday. 61 pips there. For me, I'm not interested in trying to go north on it unless I get a break of 1700 or 1.7, sorry, 1.17. A break here would open up for this to go higher, and I think that we could see it with the weakness in the US dollar, but we could also see some sideways movement for a while, a bit like this kind of scenario here, before we see a significant move up. It's another one worth watching. The Euro NZ, I like this, and got a few nickels and dimes out of it, but closed it before the end of the market. And this is the key level here where this crosses, and we're want to see if we're going to get a close above here. I reckon the chances are good for another move up, but keep an eye on it. This is the key level at 1.76, so it's probably a little lower than what I've got marked. It's just there. And if I take out this level here and get a good bullish signal, I will be going into that this week, hoping that eventuates. Euro JPY is at a critical point of 124. Last week we had the move up. This could end up to be a double top and a move back down, or it could come back down and do a retest in here. But I'm definitely looking to be buying if we can get some sort of a pullback and then a move up. Euro Euro pound moved a little bit higher over the last 2 to 3 weeks, but this area here, it's having a great deal of difficulty breaking 91. So I need to see a really, not prepared to take the breakouts here. I need to see it break out and then get established and retest and give me a bullish signal from here. So no trade on that. Euro Swissy, this is where traders get beaten up in here. So be really, really careful. But I'm looking for a break of these areas here. I would probably, no, I want to see it break here before I get too interested in it. It's a difficult one at the moment. So, I'm just sitting on the sidelines. I'll continue to do so. Euro CAD, we talked about this, and we never got the break here until here, but it's got some traffic to get through here. So I'm looking at anything above 1.56, and I need to see a retest of that area. You can see that it's broken it, and what I'm looking at is for this to retest and set up a really good bullish signal. Then I will be going north on there. Euro AUD, very similar to the Euro New Zealand. This is the key level here, around 165. But I'm looking at this along with Euro New Zealand as a possible move upwards. I think there's potential here for a decent move up. There's no trade on the Swiss JPY for me. I'm not touching that at the moment. Two neutral currencies in my book. Again, we saw the breakout midweek last week with the CAD JPY, and now we're just sitting back in here, and we finished up in the middle of this consolidation. So for me, there's no real trade unless I get a break of this level or a break below here. CAD Swissy, I got really excited a couple of weeks ago with this, but look where we are now. We look like we're coming back down to retest this. So I'm waiting on the sidelines. I'm only interested in going north on this pair. We're getting close to 6.8. We get down in here, it'll be a great place to try to buy it from. But no, there's nothing doing. Here's the Aussie. Just again, with the weakness in the US dollar, especially because it started right at the beginning of last week. Look at this. Now it's pulled back off, and I'm looking for a bounce off this level, just like the New Zealand US dollar, looking for a bounce. So I'm going to be watching that US dollar index with great interest to see if we get a very key area here, and I'll be buying for it here. Aussie, New Zealand, not been looking at it too hardly because the two neutral currencies. I like to trade strength and weakness. Aussie Swissy, looking for it's retested my baseline by the way. So I'm looking for this to turn around and break through. And if we get close to taking out this high, I will have pending orders sitting just in above those highs, ready to take advantage of it. So, but I'm not got pending orders in at the moment. I'm just waiting for this to turn around, give us a good bullish signal, and then if we get that, I will then place some pending orders in above here, and away we go. Aussie CAD very similar. We've had this move up. We talked about this several weeks ago. We get a break of this area, and so we've got a few nickels and dimes out of it. Not a major move, but it just like the other some of the other Aussie peers. This Aussie CAD could be setting up for a higher move up. You wanted to have a look at Aussie JPY. We just did that there. We're looking at this one here. This is where I want to catch the bounce. You can see there's a bit of a move up initially, and all the Aussie pairs are similar. You know, the Aussie JPY and the Aussie USD, they're quite defined in their pullbacks. See? And I think that if this turns around and goes, I think it's offering a great opportunity. See, they've all done the same, and here's the Aussie CAD. So there you have it. Protect your capital, stay safe out there, take your profit when it's there, protect your profit when it's there. And you know, any questions, just chat to me in the chat room. I'll keep you posted of my movements and what I'm doing. Can't wait for the market to open tomorrow. Let's see what it does, and happy pup hunting. And you know, there's lots of money to be made, even in a upside down market like we're experiencing. So please take care out there. I hope you and your families are staying safe and staying away from the coronavirus. You know, remember to keep yourselves safe. Practice good money management in regard to your trading. You know, don't chase the markets. If your strategy works, stick to it. If it's not, you need to change what you're doing. If what you're doing as a trader is not working, you need to change it. And don't live in la-la land thinking that it'll come right one day. The market's constantly changing, so you need to be flexible. But if you've got a good base strategy that's solid and it's consistently working for you, stick with it. Even though you might not have too many trades for a few days or a week or two. Stick with it, because the trades will come to you. Wait for it to come to you. So, you know, happy trading this week, and we'll talk to you in the chat. Cheers.